I thought it was such a sweet song. I want to hear it. So thank you so much for coming to or attending this Give to Live episode, the Forgiveness Project on Monday. Start the week well with Forgiveness Project. and there's always enough material to work with, so that's really great. And today, looking at the ingredients that I come up with today, there will be Master Teacher expressing himself. There will be expressions of him, and those have everything to do with what isn't, and also with what you don't have to do. So what isn't and what you don't have to do. So because the truth already is, we don't only have to release that what is not, literally, and that is not. So all the temporal attributes. So that's going to be something. And another part is the daily lesson, and we're going to start with that. The daily lesson of today is all the gifts I give to my brother, I give to myself, in fact. And how that exactly works, we will hear in the meditation, and you will have sufficient time to contemplate it. So that's great to start with. So let's. All gifts I give my brothers are my own. As every gift my brothers give is mine, so every gift I give belongs to me. Each one allows a past mistake to go, and leave no shadow on the holy mind my Father loves. His grace is given me in every gift a brother has received throughout all time, and past all time as well. My treasure house is full, and angels watch its open doors, that not one gift is lost, and only more are added. Let me come to where my treasures are, and enter in where I'm truly welcome and at home, among the gifts that God has given me. Father, I would accept your gifts today. I do not recognize them, yet I trust that you who gave them will provide the means by which I can behold them, see their worth, and cherish only them as what I want. All gifts I give my brothers are my own.
Tous les dons que je fais à mes frères sont les miens. De même que chaque don que font mes frères est à moi, de même chaque don que je fais m'appartient. Chacun d'eux permet qu'une erreur passée disparaisse sans laisser d'ombre sur l'Esprit Saint que mon Père aime. Sa grâce m'est donnée dans chaque don reçu par un frère de tous les temps et passé le temps. Mon trésor est plein et des anges en surveillent les portes ouvertes pour qu'aucun don ne soit perdu et que seulement d'autres s'ajoutent. Que j'arrive là où sont mes trésors et que j'entre là où je suis véritablement le bienvenu et chez moi, parmi les dons que Dieu m'a faits. Père, je voudrais accepter tes dons aujourd'hui. Je ne les reconnais pas. Or, j'ai confiance en ce que toi, qui les as faits, me fournira les moyens par lesquels je peux les contempler, en voir la valeur et les chérir comme étant les seules choses que je veux.
See, that's always a good start to really dive into this. Wow. So, the gifts you give to your brother, you give to yourself. Now, that's great. That's forgiveness. You give it away in order to receive it, but first you give it away. You don't want to possess anything, and that is a part that we'll look at today. It's like at least that's the second part, in fact. And so the forgiving part is expressed in the talk of master teachers, like in the part 2 that I posted, part 2 of the Gift to Live. When you listen to that, and we're going to do that in a minute, it's probably 8 or 10 minutes or so. But when you listen to it, I'm letting Karen in. When you listen to that, there's so much fundamental transformational work being offered, in fact, or transformational recognition, that really is inspiring and always refreshing. When I hear it, it's refreshing. And when I say that, it is like, not that you forget that you're in a process of transformation, but it is like, how deep do you want to go into it? How much are you allowing that to turn your world upside down? That is certainly being pushed to the limit, you could say, in what Master Teacher is sharing. Now, I like to use that, since we are, say, in this process, undergoing this metamorphosis from human mind, you could say, from human limitation, from human, say, holding on to ideas of sickness and death, in fact, and to time, having a real fundamental belief that is a reality, to opening your consciousness for a different experience and seeing that your mind is whole and it's not limited. It is not, say, defined by three-dimensional ideas. So that is the process we're in, and that's what happens. But like I said, it depends on how deep are you willing, or are you allowing yourself to dive into that. We said it the other day too, in fact, with don't adjust, like whatever you do, don't adjust to the world, because the world is what the belief in death is, in limitation, in sickness. So you don't want to adjust to that. Now see, there's like, you have a feeling about yourself that you're in some existence and that you're spending time there and thinking that it has a certain value, otherwise you would not be in it. And now this comes in. It's like how to deal with that. You can say, how do you do that? That's not so easy, because it immediately disturbs. It is not popular, you could say. It is not having your favorite vacation. No, it's work. Work in the sense of it is discomfort, discomfortable. That is, however it is for you, of course. But like, I don't want to define it for you. But what certainly happens is that you do things in a different way. Not because you do them in a different way, because you are changing. So everything is different. What worked before, for instance, in social interaction, or even with the ones very close to you, what worked before suddenly starts to work absolutely the opposite way. So there's a disruption in that too. So, and that continues, because the ones that are around you, you are with them in a transformational relationship. Since you are in a transformational process, everything is that. Everything is contributing for your transformation. And that's more and more, like it's expanding in terms of, it's obvious that all that is happening for your healing. Every occurrence that is taking place is for your healing. Now, I've said that before. That is in that sense nothing new. But so over and over, there are new aspects that are being brought in. Now, these aspects that I'm bringing today, it is not that you have to look for it, that you have to look for changes, or that you have to start behaving differently. No, this is really a matter of allowing the change in your consciousness to take place. This is that. It is not adjusting your behavior to desirable behavior in terms of spiritual study or something. Like, that's not what this is about. What the real change is you changing your mind about yourself, and that is a different thing than you think. So you change your mind about yourself is literally like that what you think you are is not what you are. So what you are, you have no idea about until the moment that it actually starts to come into your consciousness what you are. But then it doesn't have anything to do with this definition that you had before. And when I say definition, the definition is brought into practice, into phenomena of form, in such a way that you really believe that you are in that dream and that you are a real figure in that dream, forgetting that you as well as the dream are an illusion. And the you I'm talking about is the one that thinks about itself, that looks at itself, that is concerned about itself, about the dream, about itself. You know, the fact that that can happen is already totally illusory. If you open your consciousness for a different experience, you start to see that. Now, all of that, the change of mind is then releasing all of that, a relinquishment of that whole thing that you thought you were, including the dream, including the figures in your dream, including you, the way that you see yourself. So interesting to come to this. So the change of mind is really like that's being abolished. That's like you die in that. That's at least a familiar term we know. You die in that. How that feels and how that is for you, you have no idea. Until it happens. Then it makes total sense. And here's that light. Suddenly there's light coming into your consciousness. And it literally abolishes the dark. Now this dark is your idea about yourself. Who would have known? You really thought that somebody out there was the darkness, or some group in your dream is darkness, or the Catholic Church is darkness, or who knows what, the Pope, you might be afraid of the Pope, is darkness. And no. No, this dream of yours is what darkness is. Until you allow the light to come into it and actually shed light on it, whereby it disappears. Temporarily it might look like a better dream, so to speak, or a better world, like a real world, but that's still in the illusion, you could say. That's still like a transition state. It's a borderland. And this is interesting in terms of how to look at this, how to do this. You know, it's like so there's no way of doing that. There's no way of telling yourself, I'm not real. It's like, you can't believe that. So you need a different experience, obviously. You need a different experience that will be convincing, that you literally see yourself dissolve in your dream. You see that whatever you thought about yourself was a lie, or was nothing, in fact. Was like, okay, there it is. It's Maya, it's illusion, it's nothing. So that is interesting, because now We looked at that yesterday too. It's like the idea of motivated action. Like the character in the dream has a real good intention. Like it has lots of intentions. It really wants this, it wants that, it wants to wake up, it wants to have a good life, it wants to do this and that, and you name it. Like that, and all the intentions, all these goals that you have for yourself, all these things you consider for yourself have absolutely no reality. It will never give you what you hope it will give you. So one thing for sure is your investment in your dream, your possessions, your possessiveness in relationships, for instance, or wanting to hold on to it, wanting that is literally what your choice for death is, what your choice for limitation is, and sickness and pain. And that's what you don't want to see, because you're like, well, no, now you're going too far. Do I need to sacrifice that? It's like, no, you don't have to sacrifice that, because there's no need to sacrifice anything. There's only a discovery to make, and that is, none of this is so. It simply isn't so. And there's an alternative to this that has nothing to do with this whatsoever, and you can experience that. Now this is what I'm offering you in every meeting that we have, whether I say that directly, whether I say that indirectly, or showing you that in different ways. In fact, the conclusion of this is, there is no death. There is no limitation. There's no end to this. There's no goal to achieve. No, entering into beingness, a whole-mindedness, completedness, oneness, entering into that is letting all else dissolve. By you allowing that light to come into your consciousness, the selfless self, the selfless self, we say, like just like we practiced yesterday, the selfless prayer. It's like the selfless self here is allowing that, is not wanting anything. It has no intention of anything. It just is. It opens up and it's receptive. But it's not an activity, it's more like it does all the things to reject, it doesn't do those. So this is a bit of an introduction to what we're going to listen to when Master Teacher starts to speak, and we look at some of his expressions afterwards, just to go really to the bottom of it. So yeah, listen with me, please.
Back just for a moment. Here then is the crux of the whole teaching, the relinquishment of self-identity. When I speak to you on these tapes as what we must term a whole mind, what I'm saying is this: no matter what you present me with, and this will be true of all healed teachers, Jesus called them, okay, I will indicate to you that there is a single problem and a single solution. Okay. When you bring me particular problems within the Brotherhood and I express them as singular, you have a tendency to interpret them dualistically in the framework of the problems that you are experiencing within your own time framework. The solution, obviously, is on this tape, is the total forgiveness of the grievance that you hold against your brother. But remember that judgment is a grievance, isn't it? Judgment is the idea that there could possibly be associate relationships of pain or lack, okay, within the framework of reality, and there can't be. Quite literally then, if you come to a whole mind, he attempts to teach you, don't judge. All right. Now, I may present that to you in numerous ways. I may say to you, if you judge me, you're wrong, and everything that I say is wrong, and I have no value in what I'm saying. I'm very certain that that's true. Okay. Why? Because I'm teaching give no value to your perceptions here. Yeah, I'm teaching you to relinquish your notations about me and only love. This is the whole sense of the Course teaching, isn't it? All whole minds will do this. Why? They are very certain that within any mechanism of teaching there can only be one problem and one solution. No matter what you as an ego or personality brought to me, I know you're not so. This is my highest teaching, because the earth is not so. You can present me with all of the dilemmas of your associate thoughts and they'll have no effect on me at all, finally. That may be excruciating to you, but the more you can see the constancy, which is as close to honesty as you can get, of a whole mind teacher, the more, if you are determined to find it, you will seek him out. And this is what we're attempting to bring about. Then by that association, you undergo this transformation of your mind. This is a very high teaching. And that's what's occurring around the world. Why? Because this is a required course. This is a course in enlightenment. I look at the definitions that consciousnesses apply to what the Course in Miracles is, like a set of books. That's nonsense. The Course in Miracles is a simple course in the maturation of your mind to the certainty of singular wholeness. And if you begin to look at it that way, you'll feel the excitement of the way out of chaos and death that are here by the declaration that I give you now. There is no death. Okay? There has to be an alternative to the construct of your mind. And through the relinquishment of that content, you can come to know the truth. Through love and forgiveness and giving, through detachment, through non-possession. The more you do it, the freer you'll be. The less you possess, the freer you'll be. You won't care about the possessions of your other brothers because you see that that possession is binding them to death, holding them in time by their associations in their minds. Wow! You can hardly wait to give it away. You'll go through periods in this maturation where you'll be in direct conflict with the world simply because you don't want to possess. And you'll be attacked for not possessing, but it won't bother you really. Because what? You'll begin to experience the freedom of being rather than having to hold on and literally construct sickness and death in order to verify yourself. Swear not to die, you holy Son of God. We keep coming back to that time. You've invented death as a protective mechanism to keep your own identity. And death is only grievance or thinking that something can harm you outside yourself. For if you think it will and can, it will and can. We'll see you soon. I put that on this tape. This is a tape of love and giving. But finally, my teaching is there's no reason for this world because there's no reason for pain and sickness and death, right? Okay? But the idea that there's no reason for this world eliminates the necessity for you to be here. This is the paradox. This is the cusp. This is the dilemma of trying to teach at this level. In a very real way, then, though I give you choice, I assert that you have no choice and are only whole and beautiful and true and loving. Okay? When expressed in psychology, this becomes unmotivated action. Master Jesus says you never do things for the reasons that you say you do. This is literally true. And if you'll give up reasons for doing things, you will come into a whole new sense of your own reality. Then the miracle, and this was the teachings of this other tape that you had, the miracle of lesson, of the text of 28, of lesson 170, will come home, because if you don't motivate your mind, your whole mind will assert automatically, because you are indeed whole-mindedness. I know I came back into don't plan for the future, and what? Don't lay up stores. Don't plan to die. And this day you don't like this. Give up your possessions and you can't die. As long as you possess, you must die. Because possession or having is what death is. this? Are you listening to this? No? All of the teachings of the new covenant of Jesus indicate only, don't plan, don't lay up stores. Let God be what He is. Don't judge Him. Huh? Isn't it nice? You're not attacking me too violently when I teach this anymore, are you? Remember that 2,000 years ago, as Master Jesus walked into the temple and taught this, He was immediately crucified. Today, the teachings that Jesus says in the Course is you crucify the Christ every day by denying the certainty of your own reality through the exclamation of the possibility of this grievance of pain and death that we speak of. That's what perceptual mind is. When you go to teach this, you're going to end up with some pretty hard statements, aren't you? Statements like you're either for me or you're against me. You don't like that. You're going to end up with statements like you're either Christ or Antichrist. You're going to end up with statements like the world or perception is attack on God. And that's all right, because finally we want consciousnesses looking at themselves and the individual association with themselves. And in that sense, it doesn't have to do with how many images or groups they gather about themselves to verify this excursion that they pretend to be on. So, wake up. Feel this lovely flow of truth that is engulfing you now, and come to know who you really are. We'll see you soon. We hope we'll see you soon. Brothers are moving around the world now teaching this high message, and those who are ready to hear them or are at least determined to listen are calling, and their calls will be answered. We'll see you soon. And finally, on this tape, perhaps the magnitude of this teaching is dawning on you, that through the process of relinquishment of opinion and judgment, you formulate around you an energy of non-defensiveness, of freedom, okay? Where you stay in this perceptual bondage just for another moment, and then the earth is gone, isn't it? It's a hatching out. You become free, okay? And you literally step out of time, okay, into eternity. And this is what I'm presenting to you, that this can come about in you, and it will make you very happy. And all of the pain and frustration that you're feeling because of your associations with sickness and death and hatred and love and truth and beauty will disappear, and you'll become only love. These determinations of yours to formulate notations of time and death and attack with wholeness and love will begin to be very absurd to you. You're looking directly now at why is it that the things that you love leave you? Why is it that if there is truth and happiness, no matter what you do, you can't find it here? Why is all of the intensity of your necessity to express yourself in truth and beauty dashed by the necessity of cancer and heart attacks, pain, sickness? Come on, brother. Our whole notation is that this is not so, that this is indeed a dream of death and chaos, and that all around you is the beauty and light of whole consciousness and love. This is all I'm really presenting to you. And you will hear it because you did hear it. This was over a long time ago. You're coming to see that now. We hope that you'll contact us. We're very small. It's just beginning. And you are a vital part of it finally, aren't you? In fact, it can't be done without you, can it? Without you, there is no heaven. Isn't that amazing? Without you, there is no earth. take your choice. We'll see you soon.
So thank you so much for listening to this. Thank you with me. Without you, there's no heaven. So that's a great line. I love that. And so, yeah, this was the story that I love to share with you, because it is almost like a summary of the whole curriculum of A Course in Miracles. Like, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. And I see, I like the part here very much so of, it's more like you are going to discover the alternative and not being too concerned with what you leave behind, but very much like open to what is there to discover. Oh, I really love this. So it's like your unmotivated action will give you that. So it's not that we try to get rid of something, that we try to work it and all this stuff. No. Like, no, we're actually starting to have a moment of not defending ourselves and seeing that literally the heavens open up when you do so. You never expected that to happen, but in the practice, it happens. So that's the miraculous part of the whole journey that we see over and over. But also, like, that takes away the study, the learning, the who knows what you think you have to do in order to become defenseless, forgetting that you need to become defenseless. That was the only requirement, not to defend yourself, but just allowing things to be. Now this I really like. So there was one other word, and that was like the constancy of you, of the teacher, of you. The constancy is the thing that comes closest to honesty. Now, constancy or consistency, you could say, is actually divided in three things. And this has been very helpful to me to know this. And like the three things that you can check, in fact, the consistency of what you are doing is this. It's like what you think, what you do, and what you say becomes one thing. There's no conflict in that. Like, that is the closest you can come to honesty. What you say, what you think, what you do is congruent, is one thing. It is not that you say this and do that, or that you think this and say that. All the things that you see in human behavior, like saying things but doing something else. And all this, like, now this comes together here. So consistency, constancy, you can check that for yourself. Is what I'm saying and what I'm thinking, is that what I'm doing too? Like, is there a synchronicity or a wholeness related to that? Or am I still looking for picking one part? I tell nobody what I think. They will see what I do. They will see what I say. And I can say all kinds of things, but it has nothing to do with what I think. No. See, that's never going to work. But this is a way of checking your level of honesty. You will encounter it. So it's a great tool to check your falsity, basically. To check your own corruption. So yeah. And then what? Then you know that. Then you know that you're a fraud. Then you know that you're corrupt. And then what? Well, then you can release that and not defend it anymore. So here is a real wisdom. Not defending your fraudulence, your corruption, is a step up. Is a step up in honesty. Because at least you're willing to admit it. You're not defending it. Great. Okay, so we're heading over to some of the expressions of Master Teacher. And he mentioned two lessons, so there's 28 and 170. So 28, I've one paragraph, and 170, I have one paragraph too, that I love to share. So we have to get moving. Yeah, we have some time to do that. But I really love it. No, the earth is not so. It's not so. Whatever you tell me about it, it is not so. Whatever you tell me about your adventures in it, it is not so. So I really like that. So one of the expressions, here are some expressions that Master Teacher shares. The solution is the total forgiveness of the grievance that you hold against your brother. Now this takes time to discover what it actually means, because this is about judgment. Judgment is grievance. Judgment is also perception. You see your brother do things and you're wrong. It's not so. So the solution is the total forgiveness, that your perception is no information, is not a fact at all. It doesn't tell you anything. We'll come to that later in lesson 28. But remember that judgment is a grievance. Judgment is the idea that there could possibly be associated relationships of pain or lack. See, judgment is the idea that there could possibly be relationships of pain and lack in what you see, in what you perceive. And you think you're right, and you start to defend yourself. Well, you're in it now. You're in the battlefield. So this is why it's being said, like, you will have to totally forgive your brother all the time. You don't want to hold any grievances against your brother, because then you're tied into the pain and lack relationship, and pain, lack, death, all of that. Give no value. Yeah, here it is. Give no value to your perceptions. Relinquish your notations about me. And only love. Start to only love. Relinquish your notations. Like, everyone loves it when they discover somebody's approaching them with this. No notations of wrongdoings. No, forget it. Forget every idea that you hold about your brother, and just love your brother. Love, extend. No matter what you as an ego or personality brought to me, I know you are not so. Like, whatever you, Master Teacher says this, like, no matter what you bring to me, wherever it's coming from, whatever you think is your problem, I know that it's not so. This is my highest teaching. And why is it not so? Because the earth is not so. This world does not exist. It's of your own making. So then an expression about the Course in Miracles. A Course in Miracles is simply a course in the maturation of your mind to the certainty of singular wholeness. Like, that is your mind is whole. There's a singular wholeness. There's no duality. There's no comparison to make. There's no competition to strive for or to be made. There's literally no comparison to be made. No, there's only singular wholeness. In that, you mature by doing the lessons, by keeping it active in your mind, by keeping it active not to defend yourself, not to resist evil, as Joel would say it, like, not to resist evil, not any of these things, not putting up your sword, not picking up your sword to defend. No. If you begin to look at it that way, and this is like I said, the experience. If you begin to look at it that way, you feel the excitement of finding the way out of chaos and death. In the declaration, there is no death. So it's like you start to feel the excitement of finding the way out of chaos. Now, I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you remember how good it feels to forgive, that you suddenly give up your own story and just say, I'm sorry, I I really held on to my ideas. I defended myself. I'm so sorry for that. You know how good that feels, how everything opens up and becomes so simple, while you were actually a moment ago in a murderous state in which you could attack your brother in order to get your right. Now here it is, like to melt into that forgiveness is everything. Suddenly chaos dissolves. It is like as if the sun starts shining. And of course the light is shining. You're not holding to defend yourself against something, because that would only, say, confirm your own separation. And you're not separate. So it's a very unrealistic state or experience that you're in. If you become angry, if you become full of defenses, defensive is the word, yes. So if you become fully defensive, you know how tight that feels, how much you have to fight in order to stay there. And you know that you're actually doing that to yourself. You know that you have no ground to stand on. So it's literally a very lonely fight that you're fighting. Now here comes the release. Oh, it feels so good. You fall in love with your brother again. Suddenly it dissolves what you were defending. It doesn't even matter anymore. You leave it behind. You throw it overboard with, oh, no, I don't want anything to come in between you and me. No, are you kidding? No, we recognize the love that we are. How much fun is that? It's like that's where the real excitement begins. You found a way out of chaos and out of death. Suddenly you come to life. Amazing. Okay, so here there has to be an alternative to the construct of your mind. Through the relinquishment of that construct that you made in time, space, relationships, in setting up laws for it, rules for it, and all these patterns for it, through the relinquishment of that construct, you can come to know the truth through love and forgiveness and giving up of your detachment to possession. So the less you possess, the freer you'll be. And this is also in relationships. This is also in material possessions. It's also in your setup, wherever, in whatever construct you find yourself. Like there's always possession. There's always a reason why you want to hold on to it, your value that you give it. So here it is, like the less you possess, the freer you will be. You won't care about the possessions of your brothers because you see that the possessions are binding them to sickness and death. You can hardly wait to give it away. Now this is really also my experience. Like you cannot wait to give it away. You don't want to hold on to anything. Okay, so now we come to lesson 28. So I picked one paragraph that has everything to do with the essence of what you can see. You could, Jesus says, you could in fact gain vision from just that table over there. If you could withdraw all your own ideas from it and look upon it with a completely open mind. It has something to show you. Something beautiful and clean and of infinite value, full of happiness and hope. Hidden under all your ideas about it is its real purpose, the purpose that it shares with all the universe. I love that paragraph. So this is the invitation to a new experience. See, if you experience this, actually start to see that it is totally what it says. Like suddenly you start to see that it is completely in alignment with the purpose of the universe. Then you don't have to be concerned about how your mind works, what you have to do with your thoughts, or all this stuff that you keep circling around in your mind to discover something. It's like, no. So it's like you for one moment you see with an open mind, and you see something that you didn't see before. Now there's something happening. There's a change occurring that saves you. It is a real miracle. It's like that saves you years and years and years of study, because it actually is shown to you what it means. So this is what I love about, say, the Course in Miracles, because it offers this step all the time. So it is not endless meditating, endless study, endless this and that, and finally coming to is no. Open your eyes. Open your mind. Take a look. Look at this. Open. What you have no idea what you can see here. If you already know what it is, you missed it. No, open your eyes. It's like pay attention. Be on the edge of your seat to discover what is actually given, what is right in front of you. Now this is what is being offered here. So totally lovely. So then lesson 170 comes around here. And there's no cruelty in God and none in me is the lesson. You might remember that. So here's paragraph 11. The choice you make today is certain. For you look for the last time upon this bit of carven stone you made, and call it God no longer. You have reached, see, this is your, like the carven stone you made is the image that you put in form, and you call it God because you literally are defending it. Your image that you hold, you are defending it. Your image of yourself that you hold out about your brother, about your enemy. And it's like for the last time, you look upon this bit of carven stone you made and call it God no longer. You have reached this place before, but you have chosen that this cruel God remain with you in still another form. And so the fear of God returned with you. This time you leave it here, and you return to a new world, unburdened by its weight, beheld not in its sightless eyes, but in the vision that your choice restored to you. I'll read it again, because you missed it. The choice you make today is certain, for you look for the last time upon this bit of carven stone you made and call it God no longer. You have reached this place before, but you have chosen that this cruel God remain with you in still another form, and so the fear of God returned with you. This time you leave it here, and you return to a new world unburdened by its weight, beheld not in its sightless eyes, but in the vision that your choice restored to you. I can't remember this paragraph up to the moment that I read it again. It's like, oh yeah, that's so great. It's like there's a carven image. You made a god, you know. It's like Paul coming to Athens, and they have gods for everything. And he says, well, there's only one. Here's this temple for the unknown God. This is the one that I represent. Like it has no image. There's no statue, there's no nothing, but this is the temple of the unknown God. And see, with an openness like that, you don't have to be afraid anymore for it, because the other gods you had to pay attention, otherwise they would destroy you. They had a chance to destroy you. Now here's a God that has nothing to do with form. So it's a spiritual God. It is a God that has no link to this earth in the direct sense. So it was just a beautiful paragraph to use here. It's like there's a different way of looking at this, and you discover that. Now you apply this. You're not afraid to leave your fearful images about God. You're not afraid to leave those behind and allow a new experience to come to you that takes you out of chaos, out of the limitations and the death and the fear of God. So the result of that will always be peace, and that is the offering. That's really the whole offering of this. It's like peace of mind, peace of your whole mind. Peace and whole mind is the same thing. All right, so this is what I wanted to share today, and so thank you for putting up with me, listening, and enjoying that with me. So thank you for that. So we're going to listen to some music to relax a little bit more and to let this fall into place, or whatever needs to happen. Stay in the energy and give everything away, and simply love. That's the way. So thank you so much, and I hope to see you soon.